Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use AWS Cloud9 service to connect to Amazon RDS Oracle database. As you see in this PPT depicts my demo. Here, I'm going to show you how to connect to our Oracle RDS service, which is hosted on a VPC, right? So now, if you want to access that database hosted on that, and especially with using the private connectivity, which means that we have to connect to or access that database being present within the same VPC environment where the RDS is sitting, right? So such cases, we're gonna use AWS Cloud9 service. So AWS Cloud9 service is a Amazon service or AWS service which will help us to achieve, to get the required IDE system, that is integrated development environment. Yeah. So this service provides the development environment. So it's not only just a development, yeah, but also it also supports, like, how you can use it as a, the client to connect to the RDS services, especially with a private connectivity. Yeah. So if you are connecting from your laptop or from your system, it's basically, you are connecting over the internet. Yeah. But when you are connecting from the with using the services with using AWS like Cloud9 or EC2 machine, by hosting them into the especially into the same VPC, which means that you are actually connecting to those services with using the private connectivity, which is very secure and suggested method, right? So here I have an AWS account like this, which is shown in the form of red line, and after that we have a VPC in a region, right? And in that region we're going to create a Amazon RDS. So we're going to create our host Amazon RDS pointing to that VPC, and simultaneously to access and to do the the interact with your databases for management task purpose, we're going to create Amazon AWS Cloud9 service. With using that, so what we do is, we're going to configure the Cloud9 service with the required clients of respective flavors. Say here it is Oracle, right? So here I'm going to configure the Cloud9 the machine to have the required softwares in place, which can help me to connect to the Oracle RDS, right? And post that I'm going to show you, like, how to run certain SQL queries against the Oracle database and try to do the required maintenance from with using the Cloud9 AWS Cloud9 service. All right, so with that note, I will take you back to the my AWS account. So this is my AWS account. I have already created Amazon RDS of flavor Oracle Enterprise. Yeah, so and if I can open the configurations by clicking on this one, creation of database will take nearby 15 minutes, which that's the reason I have already pre-created a database, right? So here it has a connectivity. If you go to the connectivity and security options, this is my endpoint. This is the port being allowed. We have a VPC. I have already created a VPC. In that one, I have a multiple subnets, and those are subnets are being used by this RDS service. If you go to the security, so I have a security group as well. So now, after these configuration showing, I'm going to show you now what is the configuration that I maintain in the security group as well. And then we have a public accessibility, which I have disabled it. Make a note that I have a disabled public accessibility. Yeah, and the rest all configurations are in place. All right. So, and now with that, so this is basically what I want to show you is, this database is not publicly accessible. In the sense, if you want to access the database, you have to be in this environment. Nothing but you have to be there in this VPC environment by creating either a VPC and host the required clients and try to access it from there. That's one method, and which is actually not a convenient method. You might hit so many errors, right? But AWS provides solves that problem by providing a service called AWS Cloud9 services. If you go to the AWS Cloud9 services, you will say a cloud ID for writing, running, debugging the code. Okay, so here I'm not writing any code or debugging the code, but I'm setting an environment or setting a client in a way that I can interact with the Amazon RDS, that is especially the Oracle RDS. Yeah. All right, so to do that, so we have to have a Cloud9 environment first, right? So for that sake of that, I'm going to create an example Cloud9 environment, and let me give the yeah. So to create a Cloud9 environment, you have to click on a button that is create environment first. Give the name of the Cloud9 environment. So here I'm going to give it like a Cloud Quick Labs. Yeah. And then the description, keep it blank, and then the environment type, so choose the new EC2 instance, not the existing one. And in the new EC2 instance, type the sizes. Okay, so basically they are suggesting us to use these sizes based on the task you're gonna do it on this Cloud9 machine. In this case, we are not doing any resource crunch operations or resource crunch installation. We are not doing that. We are just installing the Oracle clients, that is SQL plus. Yeah. And then so that's the reason I chosen the T2 micro, which is actually free. Then if I go to the platform, then yeah, I would like to opt in for Amazon Linux. Yeah. And then we have a timeout session that is 30 minutes is enough for the demo purpose. I'm going to keep it that. And then in the network connectivity, so choose, there are two types of connectivities, that is secure SSH, in the sense you're going to access the Cloud9 machine with using the SSH method, or AWS SSM method, which is basically very easy method, so that you can just click on the button and automatically IDE will be opened in the browser, and from there you can do the job, right? So which is easiest method and suggested method. And then go to the VPC settings. So here I'm using the same VPC where my RDS is sitting. Make a note, I'm using the same VPC where my RDS is sitting, right? So if I go to the VPC, this is my VPC, yeah, and I go to the Cloud9s, and if I try to find out, so this is VPC, I'm using it. And the tags, I'm not going to create any tags, so I'm just click on a button like a create environments, right? So I have already, yeah, so basically there is another environment is already in running, so that's the reason it is throwing there. We have to wait for a couple of seconds, so that it will try to complete the job basically. As you see here, so there is another the Cloud9 services which I created, and it is throwing the error. Basically, let me try to delete it again. Yeah. So it says, the proceeding to this action will be permanently delete the environment. Yes, that's what I need. So I'm going to delete it by typing the word delete and continue this one. So basically, I'm just cleaning up the another instances or another environment which I have created for previously. But the original instance which we are created for in this demo, that is basically, Cloud Quick Labs, which looks to be, successfully created. You see here, it gets created within a minute basically. That is successfully created a Cloud Quick Labs to get more access, something like that we need to see. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the environment again, and we're going to access that. Okay. So we just ignore the other one, which is actually in delete stage. Okay. So this is the state. You see the Cloud9 ID state is in a grayed out option, which is actually deleted. So basically you got a learning saying like, how does the instance looks during the delete operation, how does the instance gets looked in so when it is successfully created. So we have successfully created Cloud Quick Lab environment, so we're going to show you that options basically. So here this is the EC2 machine, and these are the configurations. If I go to the networking, so we are setting into this particular environment. Yeah. So along with that, so basically what we did is, right now we have set up a two environment. One is a source, the other one is a destination. Here the source is AWS Cloud9 and the destination is Amazon RDS of Flavor Oracle. Yeah. So before that, I'm gonna give you one more important hints at the security group, right? So in the RDS, if you go to the here, you have a security group, that is default security group. I have used a default security group for this demo purpose. So you need to enable certain ports here, right? So for the default security groups, you make sure that you enable these ports, that is Oracle ports. Yeah. So here make your security make your security group, that is this is a default security group ID. So we are making that as a source, and we are enabling the port number 1521, which is a Oracle TCP port, right? And that is what we are configuring, right? So along with that, so we have to enable the another security group, that is the security group assigned to the Cloud9 service, right? So this is the old security group. Let me get the new one. So I'm going to get the new one basically. So this is our new one. So I'm going to add that in the default security group as well. So here, if we go to this the default security group, which is a very important security group for us, because this security group is configured on the Amazon RDS. So make sure that on that security group you maintain these two configurations. So here I'm just adding the our Cloud9 instances which we just now created with the name like Cloud Quick Labs. So I'm just updating the security group which is attached to the RDS. That's the first job. And then we're gonna go to the we're gonna go to the another security group that is attached to the Cloud Quick Lab IDE instance or AWS Cloud9 instance. Yeah. So in this one, we need to maintain one inbound rule, saying like so basically we have to allow the so for the demo purpose, I'm just allowing all the TCP ports to that particular machine. Yeah. So and then let me make the rule configuration. So basically you maintain these configurations, which is enough for the Cloud9 service to work as expected. Okay, so this is very very important part to avoid the issues while you are trying to do at your side. Yeah, so with that note, let's go back to the environment which I just now cleared it. Yeah, so with that, what we did is we created the destination, we created the source, that is AWS Cloud9. We also configured the configuration that you need to maintain on the security groups of the respective instances. And then we are back to the AWS Cloud9. Yeah. So once you're back, click on the Cloud9 ID, the link here. So click on this one. It will take you to the another page like this. Yeah. So here we need to do certain things here. So what are those things? One is, first one, you make the Cloud9 instance installed with the Oracle client, that is SQL plus, and then later try to reach to the Amazon RDS, that is Oracle RDS, and try to run the queries. Okay, so basically that's what the aim here. So I'm going to close the default pages here. I'm going to create a new terminal. So I'm going to create a new terminal here. So I'm going to close off the down one. So basically we just created a Cloud9, and this is how the Cloud9 page looks like this, which is looks like an equivalent to an IDE, for example, say VS Code, yeah, or any other tool maybe, yeah. So which is used for IDE purpose. It looks same. So in this environment, so basically here, by default, none of the required client software will be installed. So for that sake, we have to install certain softwares. So I have a script called install Oracle client. So this is what the script is. It tells, so basically it takes the access of sudo, and then it does configures the Oracle client configurations, that is Oracle install client of 18 plus, which is SQL plus client, that is Oracle SQL plus client is being executed. And then we are setting the certain variables, that is Oracle home, LD library path, and path configurations are being done. Yeah, so this script will be shared in my GitHub repo, and from the GitHub repo you can find it the same script and try to execute it from your AWS Cloud9, and that's all you need to do. So basically these are the script which is given from AWS. I have not given it from my side, yeah, for your information. All right, so just to make your things quick, I'm just helping it here. So what you do is I'm going to run these script in one shot by copying all the commands in one shot and try to paste it here. So I'm just going to paste all those commands in one shot. So if you see, when I paste all the commands in the Linux machines, here is Amazon Linux 2. Though that machine will try to execute the scripts one after the other, basically. Yeah. So if I go back to the same console here, that is so here we saw, right? So that's first one, you are taking the root access, then you are doing the CD, then you are downloading the repository, then you are actually importing the packages RPM file, then you are installing the mutils, and then you are configuring the Oracle client configuration, then you are starting the installing the SQL plus for Oracle. Yeah, and then after that, exiting from that session and trying to configure the required environmental variables. All right, and then finally you are setting the bash rc commands. So let's go back to the one. So this is how the installation is in progress. If you see, it has successfully completed the installation of Oracle client, that is SQL plus, and then it has tried to do the exit, and after it is done, it has set the environmental variables. Yeah, so with that, so if you come to this stage, whichever you are seeing in my screen, which means that you have installed the Cloud9 system as expected. Yeah, all right, so with that note, let's go to the next commands. So with this, you are already done with the required configurations. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the next stage, that is how to connect to the your Amazon RDS with using the certain commands. So we need to now, we have set the environment, now we need to provide the credentials, we need to provide the host names, right, and then provide the user ID and password of your client, right, of Amazon RDS Oracle database here, and try to connect. So there is a one syntax is there. So that is basically, since we are using SQL plus client to interact with the Amazon RDS, so we need to follow the syntax of that. So the syntax of that is something like this, that is SQL plus space, this is your user ID, when what is that is you have given during the creation of Amazon RDS, and then followed by /, then try to give your password, that is master password. Yeah, so that is here in my case, that is welcome 123. So first one, you given the username / password, then add the rate, then you're gonna give the descriptions equal to, then the address list, then again the address list, so all for the braces are being opened, and then start giving the information about connectivities. That is like protocol equal to TCP, host name. So the host name is nothing but it's endpoint of your Amazon RDS. I'm going to show you how did I get this basically. Rest all, so I believe that these information is will be already with you. So in the sense, when you are creating the Amazon RDS, keep a note of your user ID and password, that is master user ID and password. And then in the protocol, you're going to give you the TCP, and then in the RDS. So how did you get this RDS address is from like this. Okay, so if I go to the machine, if I go to the RDS and go to the configurations, yeah, so if you go to the configurations, there is one thing called endpoint. So let me go back to the RDS, click on this one, click on the my database RDS. So in my case, the name of my database is my database. Yeah. And then so here, right, you see the endpoint name. So that is the FQDN of the RDS SQL database. So I copy that, and let me copy it in front of you. So I'm gonna copy it that, and I'm gonna replace this with that complete address. Okay, so for example, so I did like this. So you need to do the same thing for your keys as well. Right, so with that, let's go to the next configuration. So after that, again, you need to open the another braces for port. So Oracle port in our case is 1521. Yeah, so that's what we are keeping the information. Then goes to the connect data. So in the connect data, we have to go the SID of your database. So SID of my database is something like Oracle something. Yeah, so you go to the configurations. So this is the information which you, in the sense, basically when you create Oracle database, so you're going to give the database plus you have to give the SID, right? That is the DB name. So basically Oracle, so Oracle database schema is something else, in the sense it has the engine names. You can consider my database is nothing but instance name. Inside that instance, you need to have a Oracle DB name as well. So here in my case, my DB name is Oracle ORCL, right? And that is what I have given in the SID. So SID is nothing but it's your database name, whereas the address will be nothing but it will be with the name of your basically name of your database instance. Yeah. So altogether you framed a big string. Okay, so you need to follow the same syntax. Yeah, so wherever information you need to change, that is something like at the SID, and the host name you need to change it, right? And the user ID password. Rest all, you need to keep it as same as it is, right? So with this, completely copy the big string here. Go to the IDE again. So go to the our SQL ID. Try to paste the this big string that we talked just now. That is SQL plus Oracle admin, which is a username password. Then you are giving the host name, that is the endpoint of your Amazon RDS, and then go to the SID, that is the DB name. Yeah. So with that, just hit enter. So basically, once you hit enter, you see that your cursor is changing from user EC to user. You see, the earlier it was EC to user environment. Now it is suddenly switched to the SQL, which is nothing but it has successfully established a connection to your RDS Oracle database, and that is especially the DB name, that is ORCL, right? So with that, basically if I go back to the diagram, so basically you have accessed the Oracle RDS with using the private connectivity. Yeah. All right, so with that, let's try to realize that you have successfully connected to the Amazon RDS within a private environment, and try to run certain commands. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table on that database, that is ORCL database, and try to insert certain queries. Okay, let's see that if it allows us to do that, right? So if I go to the next command and try to paste the command, so try to follow the screen here. So I'm just going to make the screen bigger, and yeah, so like this. So here what we are doing is we are creating a table with the name like dash, and the ID, that is the column name, and the name of the value of the column ID is number. Yeah. So I'm going to hit enter. So basically it got created the table, and then go to the next command. So I have a few handy commands been stored in this file as well, which you can also try from your side while you are doing the same session like me. Yeah. So I'm just inserting some rows into that table, that is dash table, and value equal to 1. So basically what we did is we created a table with a column like ID, and in that ID, I have inserted one value, that is value equal to 1. Now what I do is I'm going to just do a select star from the table, and it is indeed returning that. So basically so we are able to create the table into the Oracle database, and also try to try to insert the certain values, and that we also did a view of that as well, that is select star. Okay, so basically, so which means that we were able to do the job, the required task against the database. Yeah, now let me purge the database as well, so the database is also getting purged, right? So remember that whatever the query that I'm running, it is indirectly run from the AWS Cloud9 machine, which is nothing but an IDE, and that IDE is actually hosted in a same environment like where the actually the my database is hosted, and the query running is happening from the backbone network of the AWS, through the backbone network of AWS. Okay, so which means that which is very secure and suggested method to interact with the RDS, that is especially Amazon RDS for Oracle database. Yeah. All right, so with that note, I have successfully shown you the things not to be shown in this video. Finally, I can request, please do subscribe my channel, that would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, thank you, thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.